Everybody's favorite annual meetings. Who dreads the annual meeting? Anybody that dreads them? Yeah, I get why. So I want to talk to you about annual meetings so that it doesn't become that for you, where it's a membership meeting where all the members feel like they're entitled to share what's on their mind. But instead, I want to give you tips and tricks on how to make it an effective business meeting of the association, because we already talked about how you're supposed to have them, right, and why you're supposed to have them. But let's make it a goal. Here's my goal for you, that your annual meeting should be no more than 30 minutes. How's that sit for everybody? 30 minutes? I know it sounds like, every association varies in this. Some associations, they're very quick, but I would say a majority of associations, their annual meetings could be run better so that they don't become a town hall forum. So let's talk about how you can make your annual meetings more effective. The first thing is having an agenda that is very specific and that you have someone, a facilitator, that's going to hold to it. So remember, you can't do anything at an annual meeting that wasn't a part of the notice, because your bylaws and even state statute says that the membership shall come together to vote board of directors, give a report, and any other business that might come before the membership, so as provided in the notice. So when you include the agenda in the annual meeting notice, that's it. That's all you're covering. So what are those agenda items? You're going to call the meeting to order. You're going to verify that you had quorum, that you met quorum, so it's an official meeting. The manager's usually going to say that, we fulfilled the requirement notice, so it was mailed out between 21 and 30 days. The next thing you're going to do is approve the minutes from the previous annual meeting. And how do you accomplish that? First of all, include the minutes with the annual meeting notice so that when you get to the annual meeting, you don't have to read them or distribute them. Someone on the board can say to the membership, you received the minutes, can I have a motion to approve the minutes as distributed? And the membership says, yeah, I make motion to approve minutes, there's a second, and you check that item off the list. It should take no more than a couple of minutes, pun intended. Then you're usually going to do a report of officers, a treasurer's report. Just go over the annual report. As a part of your annual meeting notice, you included an annual report, which just lists how much cash is in the checking, how much is in reserves, the capital projects that you accomplished in the last year, an insurance description, and if there's any pending or current litigation, right? Like your annual report, you include that report, just go over that. You don't have to get anything more specific. And maybe the president wants to just do a quick overview of the things that you accomplished since last year. It should be brief. Report of committees, I should take that off this presentation because you shouldn't do a report of committees at an annual meeting. That's not the purpose of it. And then you move into the election of directors, right? That's your primary reason why you're getting together as a membership, is to vote in the new board members, right? Old business, there should never be old business at an annual meeting. Old business is something that was tabled or carried over from the last meeting, like your last annual. There should be nothing. All of those things should be happening at a board meeting, right? And then new business. New business shouldn't really even be on here because 9.9 out of 10 times your annual meeting, you're not voting on anything else other than the directors, right? And then you adjourn. And then I have open forum on here. Open forum, do it at the end of the annual meeting, or don't do it at all, quite frankly, because you're not required to. But do it at the end of the meeting and close the meeting. That's why there's that sequence there. Adjourn. We approved the minutes from last year. We gave a report. We voted in directors. We're done. I know that sounds very cold, but it is the most business-like meeting you need to have so that it doesn't become a town hall forum. So go through that agenda, and like I said, 30 minutes. Seriously, that should be your goal. A good annual meeting should be 30 minutes. So I like this clip, right? Like, So many associations get into this habit, and it becomes a precedent, and it becomes the expectation that at the annual meeting, this is where the membership gets to share what's on their mind. And I get it, because the members are only coming together once a year. They should be able to say what's on their mind. I get it. But you can't do anything at the annual meeting that wasn't a part of the notice. It's an illegal act because it wasn't a part of the notice. Imagine how you would feel if you got the annual meeting notice and you said, oh, there's nothing going on but voting in directors, and then the annual meeting happened and you decided not to go, and at the mailbox the next day, you heard that at the annual meeting last night, Bob proposed that we fired the landscape company. Well, had I known that was going to happen, I might have went to the meeting. That's the reason why state statute and your own governing documents say that you can't act on anything that wasn't notified for the meeting. So set the expectation of what this meeting is going to look like, and I actually like to do that. Have the president or the manager or who's ever going to facilitate the annual meeting say that at the beginning of the meeting before you even call it to order. Thanks for coming tonight, everybody. This is a business meeting. We have to have it. Should be quick, and here are the things that we're going to accomplish. And if anything is on people's mind, you can come up and talk to the board after the meeting, or even better yet, ask to be on the agenda at the next board meeting, because it's at board meetings where you should be doing those types of operational issues, right? So set the expectation at the very beginning of the annual meeting of what this is supposed to be. So here's some tips. Be positive and constructive, right? I know I'm sounding kind of harsh. You know, this is a business meeting, and yes, drill sergeant. I don't mean to be that, but whoever's going to facilitate, just be positive and constructive of here's why we're together today and here's what we're going to do. Usually it's the president, but it doesn't have to be. There's a wide variance of annual meetings. As a manager, I've experienced all gamuts. Sometimes the board just wants me to do everything. You know, just run this meeting for us, Josh, please. Just orchestrate it, facilitate it. Conversely, I've experienced, Josh, I just need you to sit there and be available for questions. This is our meeting, we're going to run it. And everything in between. Most fall somewhere in between. But the point is, find someone, identify someone, usually it's the president, sometimes it's the manager, that's going to facilitate the meeting, that's going to orchestrate it, that's going to move it along. The administrator, the facilitator of the meeting. Have that person in place. Again, set the expectations. I just touched on that. Just what is it we're going to do tonight? Follow the agenda. That's why you have it. Go through point by point. Follow basic Robert's Rules of Order. Here's one little thing about annual meetings that I see boards do a lot of the times. There's a misunderstanding amongst the board that they think they should be making the motions. But remember, this is the membership meeting, the meeting of your homeowners. So they should be the ones making motions. And there shouldn't be much to be motioning. Mostly it's the first thing is going to be the approval of the minutes, right? So what the board or whoever that meeting facilitator is should say, okay, right now we're going to approve the minutes from the 2022 annual meeting. They were distributed in your packet. Can I have a motion from the membership? I'm entertaining a motion to please approve the minutes. Allow a homeowner to say, yeah, I make a motion to approve the minutes. Great. Is there a second? Is there a second? Someone seconds it? Is there any discussion about the minutes? Anyone really want to go through and read something in there that they didn't like? Or was there a grammatical error, right? So have the discussion and then say, okay, all in favor, say aye, raise your hand. Anyone opposed? Okay, the motion carries for the approval of the minutes because it was the membership, your owners, not the board. Sometimes I see the board because they get into the habit at the board meeting, right? Like, Todd, do you move to approve? Yeah. Bill, you second? Great. The membership should be making the motions on whatever might be up for a vote at an annual meeting.